Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Salette Sports Network. I'm Kevin Quigley with Michael McCall, and we're coming to you live from Arthur Christian School, home of the Conquering Riders. The Salette Lions are about to take on the Conquering Riders in JV. They're going to be playing before the varsity game. This is Salette's biggest rival, as I'm sure you all know. So this is a really big game. It's a must-win for both the JV and the varsity. The Arthur JV team has only played one game this year, a win against Kankakee Trinity Academy. We haven't played them, so we don't quite know what we're up against. But anytime we come back to Arthur, it seems like we were just here. So.
And last night, the JV team was able to pull off a victory against the Georgetown Buffaloes JV team. They came off a little bit slow, weren't able to get points on the board, but they quickly picked that up. They changed their lineup a little bit, and then they figured out their rhythm, started getting the ball into the hoop, and just outscored the Buffaloes. Good performance there from the JV team. Ryland didn't play a lot of it, but when he came in, he kind of controlled the offense. Elijah Hall had a big factor in last night's game, and so did John Bronner.
Elijah Hall getting ready to tip off. Referee's waiting for the other ref, who was taking a moment to get onto the court. Now we are ready for tip-off. Tip-off goes Arthur's way. Bringing up the court. Arthur, the bigger team out there right now for the Lions starting team, as Theo Carlisle. Nice deflection there. And they're going to force the travel on Arthur. Great play by Theo Carlisle to start off the game.
And that's one call that I've never really understood. So if you catch the ball, it happened yesterday during the varsity or JV game, they caught it off balance, slipped and fell. They ran into somebody else, and it's called a travel. I don't quite understand that call, but I mean.
So on the court for the Lions, alongside Theo Carlisle, is the captain, Ryland Taw. Also Sean Holman and Elijah Hall in the front court. And then John Brown in the backcourt. Ryland Taw with the steal, trying to dribble through traffic, almost loses it, regains possession as the ball ends up on the floor. John Bronner, quick pass off to Sean Holman. Nice shot from the elbow that just misses. But good fast-paced play from the Lions. Already put 2 on the board, and that's going to be another travel from Arthur. It almost looks like the court's a little bit slippery, but just judging from this court, it's actually a very nice floor out there, so I doubt that's the problem.
Good pass into Ryland Taw, who lays it in for another 2. Good look there from John Bronner and Elijah Hall. That's going to be a 3 from Arthur, and Lions going to take it down to the other end of the court. Bronner crossing the 10-second line. Theo with it on the left wing. Nice pass into Sean Holman. Takes a dribble, right-handed hook. That's no good. He's going to almost get his rebound. Goes in the hands of Elijah Hall. Elijah Hall's going to muscle his way into the basket and put it up for 2.
Arthur bringing it back down the court. John Bronner picking up the defense at half court. That's what I like to see, as he forces the pass out of bounds from Arthur, but I always like it whenever Salette picks up defense at midcourt and they don't wait until the point guard comes all the way down to the arc, just because it makes it that much harder for the offense to get started since the point guard is so far away from the rest of the team. John Bronner open for 3, drives in instead, then comes back out when the gaps close for him. Theo Carlisle bounce pass in around his defender to Sean Holman, but that gets picked off by Arthur. Looked like it might have been another travel on Arthur. Nothing called. Now they take it down low. Tight defense, and they force the kick outside. Another 3 attempt from Arthur. No good. Ryland Taw with the rebound. Takes him a little bit to settle and regain control, but he does.
And on offense, the Lions have got a lot of good looks, especially John Bronner. He's able to just find the ball into the post, even though it just looks like there's a lot of players in the post for Arthur. The Lions are still able to squeeze the ball in there, and that's been the result of all 6 of their points.
Right, Arthur trying to get the ball into the paint again to their big man. It doesn't work again. Elijah Hall's guarding him. He's going to be a force out in the paint today, especially in JV. 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Lions up 6-3. Shot from the corner for Arthur, and that is good. Score evens at 6 apiece. And Rylan Taw left his foot out on the court, and I don't know what he was doing because he looked down, saw his foot was on the court, and then he pulled it back and then promptly put it back out before he passed it in. So very costly mistake, giving Arthur the ball right back under the Lions' hoop. Arthur throws across the court, but it's going to be a turnover. The ball went off of Ryland and Elijah, and then John Browner picked up. He's taking it down the court quickly, passes out to Theo Carlisle. Ryland has it at the wing. Doesn't see anything. Lions reverse the ball to the other wing. Theo Carlisle not looking to drive in, but he passes it around. Ryland drives in, kicks it to Elijah. He's swinging again. Lions taking a while to get a shot off. Ryland pushes off his defender, and his shot gets tipped, but he is fouled on the shot. He's going to head to the free throw line. First foul of the game.
It's always interesting. You just watch these players develop throughout this season, and two players that I'm specifically thinking of are first John Bronner. You know, he struggled a little bit out there. He has to overcome his size disadvantage, but he's been handling that pretty well. But also Theo Carlisle. Theo, he started off the season a little bit hesitant on how he would do, but I mean, he's, especially in this game and last game, he just looks more comfortable out there in the court. He's not a particular strong scoring player, but he's able to hold on to the ball, and he's also good at getting his hands in on defense.
All right, Rylan Taw knocks down both of his free throws. Now he's going to take a seat on the bench as the freshman Andrew Sick comes into the game. Lions in his zone defense right now. That pass goes to nobody, and that's going to be over and back for Arthur, giving the ball to Salette at half court. Sick's going to inbound. He sees Bronner, gets it to him easily.
And that's going to be a moving screen. I saw that coming. Elijah Hall took a step forward towards Bronner's defender and just pushed into him, and an illegal screen is called on Elijah Hall. That's the team's first, Elijah's first.
Lions still in the lead by 2, 8-6. John Bronner falls down, but then Andrew Sick steals that pass, creates another turnover. Lions need someone over on the left side of the court. There's a big gap there. Carlisle runs over to fill that. John Browner drives in and gets surrounded, but then kicks it out. Sick open over on the side, but he dribbles it out to the arc. John Browner is going to be called for the travel. He just barely moved his toe as he was reaching out. He didn't maintain his footing.
And was that a travel there?
Yes, it was. The referee motioned at the very beginning with his foot. I don't know if that's an actual call, if he was just telling him what happened, but then he did do the travel sign after that. Sick gets the ball into Sean Holman, who loses it through his legs.
And that's twice in a row that Sean Holman's had the pass to him, and he just dropped it right there. I don't know if it's sticky fingers or it's just he's not really paying attention, but I mean, that's something that he needs to correct, because that's 2 easy turnovers where he could have easily put two baskets in for the Lions, but that was just given up from him not being able to control the ball.
Right. Timeout called by Salette. Father Carlisle speaking to the JV. He's gesturing at Sean Holman that he needs to get those. He definitely needs to catch those balls that are getting passed him down the low post.
Because the Lions are getting the looks tonight. They're able to find the post players in the post, getting good passes around defenders, because the Arthur JV team is moving their hands and moving their feet right now, trying to prevent the passing lane, but Lions are getting good passes in, and we've seen a couple from Bronner and Theo, and then Andrew Sick had that good steal over on defense just, I believe, 2 possessions ago.
All the starters still in for the Lions, with the exception of Ryland. Andrew Sick has stayed out there in his place. Arthur to inbound under the Lions' hoop. Struggling to see anything. They do get it in, and Andrew Sick steals that. Theo Carlisle taking it down the court now. Almost travels as he passes to John Bronner, but gets it off in time before he moves his feet. Lions with the ball now. Ball gets into Sean Holman. He catches it this time, but then doesn't dribble. He just looks for someone to pass to, finds John Bronner. Theo gets it to Elijah in the corner. Elijah looking for someone across the court, finds Sick. Sick drives in, left-handed layup, no good, and that's going to go the other way, tipped out of bounds by Elijah.
And Theo's got to be careful. He's dribbling the ball very far away from his body, and that's just very easily going to be poked away from him. He's got to protect the ball with his body and make sure that it's not being able to, the possibility of it being stolen is not there.
Andrew Sick almost steals another pass, but just out of his reach. Ball goes across the court. Arthur trying to drive in, and the Lions' zone defense just sucking in and then blocking off any openings. Shot blocked by Elijah Hall. Now he's taking it down the court quickly. He needs to slow down, and he's going to get called for a travel. Elijah needs to know that he's the big guy out there, so him taking it down the court in transition isn't the best idea, especially when it ends up with a 1-on-2. He should just pull it out and give it to one of the guards. Elijah Hall steals it again. He's going down the court again. This time, though, he does try and pull it out and pass it to John Bronner, but way over Bronner's head, out of bounds. 50 seconds left in the first quarter. Score remains 8-6 Lions. Ball in the corner for Arthur. They get it down low, but it's a 1-on-3, so it comes back out. And that's going to be a foul called on Elijah Hall, number 33. That's his second. He needs to be careful, especially still early in the game like it is.
And again, for another Lost basketball game, it's a low-scoring game. 30 seconds left in the first quarter, and Arthur just makes it 8-8.
.20 seconds left, first quarter winding down. Carlisle open for 3, looking for someone to pass to. And he turns the ball over on that pass, not what needs to happen with 10 seconds left. Clock winding down now. Arthur's going to look to shoot as the clock winds down. And they're not paying attention to the clock, and that's going to be the end of the first quarter. 8-8. Score remains.
And at the beginning of this quarter, the Lions, they came off strong. They were able to put points on the board right away, got good looks into the paint. Were able to put some some points on the board, but then they kind of stalled out a little bit. Their defense kind of loosened up. Arthur hit 2 big threes in a row, and then were able to get another layup in right before this quarter ended. But, I mean, they came out solid, but then they kind of dwindled their energy maybe, or I don't know what happened, but they've kind of slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, Theo Carlisle did a good job earlier in the game on defense, but he needs to pick it up a little bit on offense. He isn't looking like a threat out there, so on that last possession, he had a lot of space in front of him that he could have dribbled in, but he wasn't really looking for it, so Arthur didn't commit to him, and then they were able to turn that over off his pass. Then also on offense, Elijah needs to settle down a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Elijah Hall had 2 good breakaways, got the steal, but he just was moving too fast, and I guess he wasn't able to keep up with himself. Threw it to Bronner way over his head, and the other time is called for the travel. And the first time, it looked like Bronner was trying to steal the ball from him, and, I mean, Elijah kept it, ran down the court, and then traveled. So, I mean, that's just Elijah being aware of his situation and his surroundings.
Andrew Sick's going to inbound now to start the second quarter. John Bronner drives in. Nicholas Kellerman has come into the game for Elijah. Sick, nice bounce pass into Kellerman, but he doesn't have anywhere to go. Good footwork down low, and then gets a clean pass off to Bronner at the top of the key. Bronner resetting the offense. Ball into Carlisle, who flashes up. Nice pass into Sean Holman. He secures that one. Doesn't see anything, so he passes it back out, and then Bronner's going to turn that over, intended for Sick. Layup no good by Arthur. Theo goes up with one hand and tips it away. Arthur's three is going to fall far short, but there's no one to grab the rebound. Salette was just going to let it go out of bounds. So Arthur takes it. They have it again. That's 2 offensive rebounds for them. John Bronner finally grabs the loose ball to stop that possession. That was a messy possession.
Yeah, just like what we were talking about with Elijah Hall, that same thing just happened that possession. They were just moving too fast for themselves, and it resulted in a turnover.
Sean Holman right there ends up way off balance and loses the ball to Arthur. And then Andrew Sick tries to gather that loose ball and steps out of bounds. So it's going to be Arthur ball under the Salette hoop again. Nicholas Kellerman needs to be careful here because Elijah was doing a good job stopping the ball in the paint, and so he needs to be able to step up. He's in the low-mid position in this zone defense, so he's the one thing in between Arthur and the hoop.
And there was no box out there from Nicholas Kellerman. He kind of was staring at the ball like deers in headlights, but he needs to go out there aggressively, try to grab the rebound, but there was no real effort from him there to get the rebound unless it just fell into his arms. Sean Holman's going to come up with the rebound. There we go. Find the defensive rebound that the Lions needed.
Salette and Arthur both have not scored yet in this second quarter. John Bronner takes a deep shot. That was straight on but short. Andrew Sick wide open after he steals that. Puts a layup in. That was close. He was looking, didn't see anyone, and took his time, but that almost bounced out. Arthur taking it down to the paint now. Kick it out. Open for three. That one is far short again. Ryland's back in the game, and he's bringing it down the court quickly for Salette. He pulls out. Nice bounce pass in from Sick to Kellerman. Kellerman needs to move, needs to let go of the ball quickly because he almost got called for a 5-second violation. Sean Holman struggling again down at the low post. Gets the ball away to Ryland. Sick drives in now, but gets his shot blocked. Arthur ball now, coming back across the half-court line. Open down low, and that layup's going to roll out. Nicholas Kellerman is going to foul on that layup attempt, so Arthur's going to get to head to the line to shoot an AM1 free throw.
And again, Nicholas Kellerman was down in the post, and he was just like kind of expecting, I don't know, the ball to fall into his hands or the player to come closer to him, but he was screened. He wasn't able to get around his defender to put a hand in the face of the shooter for Arthur, and that resulted in an and one because he kind of freaked out and then fouled the player right afterwards.
Ian Whitehead and Bennett Blood have come into the game. Arthur up 11-10 now after those last two plays. Whitehead has the ball now out behind the three-point line, and Whitehead has for a long time struggled with turning away from the hoop, and he just did right there. And he does it again as whenever he's pivoting, he always ends up facing away from the hoop, and when you do that, there's only one thing you can do and pass so the defense can react accordingly.
And, Bronner right now, he's having a hard time just trying to figure out how to get the ball in the post. But for Varsity, William Fitzpatrick, our point guard, he's able to swing the ball around, find it at the post. He's also taken a couple threes in past games and been able to sink those. So that's great to see from him on the Varsity court.
Right, Ryland now taking it down low, gets it out to Bronner from the corner. His shot was a little bit forced. He didn't quite have the amount of time that he wanted, so that goes too far over. Nicholas Kellerman swats that pass away. Ryland's going to end up with it, take it down in transition, and draw the foul. That was a good, strong layup from Ryland. He knew that there was going to be tight defense, so he jumped off 2 feet and drove into the player, and he's going to get the foul and 2 free throws for us.
And, I mean, Ryland did have Ian Whitehead next to him running down the court. He decided to take the shot himself, and, I mean, the whistle was a little bit late. I didn't know if they were going to call the foul, but they eventually did, and now he's going to sink his first free throw.
Ryland made both of his free throws earlier in the game, so he's 3 for 3 right now with a chance to make it 4 for 4, I should say. Score is tied right now 11-11, and Ryland makes his 4th free throw to put the lines up 12-11. 3 minutes left till halftime. Ball in the corner for Arthur. Nicholas Kellerman guarding the ball down low, and he gets it right this time as he forces Arthur to dribble out of bounds. He doesn't foul, and so that's good D from Kellerman.
And now Elijah Hall is coming back in for number 25, Benedict Blood. I didn't see him too much out there on the court, but hopefully Elijah can come back out, grab a couple offensive and defensive rebounds.
Ball goes into the paint, then pops back out. Now Ryland has it in the corner. His shot is up, bounces in the hoop and out. Elijah Hall with an offensive rebound. His putback no good. He almost comes up with another one, but doesn't. Arthur has it now going down to the paint. Nicholas Kellerman blocks the shot and gets it right into the hands of Elijah. Another great defensive play by Nicholas Kellerman. Ryland drives in now. He's going to get blocked, but is going to get fouled again. Ryland's going to head to the free throw line for the 3rd time this game.
And Arthur wanted a little bit of revenge there after Nicholas Kellerman's block. Ryland goes down the other end of the court, kind of taunting the players to come in. Goes up, and he gets fouled, and he's back at the free throw line to try to go for 6 for 6 at the free throw line.
And he's 5 for 5 right now after his first one goes in, and he has a great free throw shot, really smooth, and he has yet to do anything but put it straight through. I don't think he's even hit the rim yet. He does that time, though.
We might have jinxed that one. I think we should have knocked on wood after we said that. So now Ryland's 5 for 6. There is no wood to knock on here, but, I mean, I don't know what we could have done there.
Ryland taking it across midcourt. I mean, I don't know. Do you have wood on your soles? Because we're sitting on metal and plastic bleachers right now, so we could run down and hit the court, but I don't think our mic cords reach that far.
Yeah, and we might show up on the camera, and I don't know if I want to do that, but I don't think these are wooden soles.
Arthur makes their 3. They're up by 1 now. Salette really needs to get back into the lead before halftime. That'd be a great momentum swing for them, especially as they're behind now. They'll get to make a mini comeback in the first half. Ian Whitehead with the ball now. Dribbles out. His pass a little bit wild, but Ryland reels it in.
Minute 4 seconds, down by 1. Ryan's going to take the shot. It's no good. Nicholas Kellerman coming up with the rebound. Barely misses his shot.
Good play from him, though. He waited a little bit, pump faked. His shot wasn't good, but he was able to tip it out to John Bronner. Ian Whitehead now from the elbow, and he buries that one. Lions up 15-14 now. That's just what we need. Ian Whitehead coming off the bench and knocking down a 15-foot jumper. Arthur's shot no good. Ryland tips the rebound and is able to get it as no one on Arthur was there. Ryland drives in quickly, realizes that he needs to take his time because there's 20 seconds left, so he comes back out. Bronner dribbling around. Almost gets the pass stolen, but the defender overplayed, so Ryland was open. Ryland back to Bronner. Ryland has the ball with 5 seconds now. Picks up his dribble. Bronner's going to take a 3. No good. Elijah Hall tries to put it back, but it's too late. But regardless, La Salette has come back into the lead, 15-14. You're definitely going to want to stick around for the second half of this JV game. But that's going to be in about 10 minutes, and we'll see you then. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second half of the La Salette Lions JV game against the Arthur Christian Conquering Riders. La Salette is up right now, 15-14. They've played strongly this game. Some good performances from Elijah Hall, Rylan Taw, and Nicholas Kellerman. He was in the game for a while, and he struggled at the beginning. He gave up an and one layup in the paint, but then he started playing some lockdown D. He got a block. He got a rebound or two. So he's not in the game right now. Starting five is back out on the court for the Lions. Sean Holman, Elijah Hall, Rylan Taw, Theo Carlisle, and the point guard, John Bronner.
And a position that's always sort of underlooked when it's just people that don't really know how to play the sport is the point guard, because he doesn't put up a lot of points. But John Bronner this afternoon has been able to get the ball around his defenders, get it into the paint, has a lot of good passes. His defense has also been pretty good, stopping his player from putting points on the board. But overall, he's just been having a good game.
Referees stopped the play because the clock wasn't running, but they turn it on. So Arthur's going to restart. Clock's all good now. Ball comes into the paint, but Arthur looking to kick it back out. Elijah Hall down in the paint. Plays clean D, but is unable to stop the shot from falling. Conquering Riders take the lead 16-15.
Theo Carlisle on the right wing dishes it to John Bronner. And that's going to be good for two for the Lions. Arthur going to take a pat up the rest of the court, and they're going to be called for a travel. Ball going the other way. John Bronner gets the inbound pass from Sean Holman, takes it past the 10-second line. Drives in, pulls back out, gives it to Ryan Taw on the right wing. Elijah Hall holding onto it at the free throw line, gets the ball tipped away from him, recovers it, gives it to John Bronner, now to Theo Carlisle on the left wing. Spinning around, loses control of his ball, and gives it to Ryan Taw. Ryan passes it to Theo, and it's going to go right out of Theo's hands. I don't know if Theo just needs to concentrate a little bit, but that's 2 times in a row where he just lost control of the ball that was just an easy pass, or when he was just holding on to it.
Right, earlier in the game, Sean Holman was struggling a little bit in the low post. He was losing his balance and turned over a couple times, but he came back. Rylan Taw steals the ball, takes it down the court, and that's going to be a charge called for Arthur. That definitely, the Arthur player definitely wasn't set up, but it was still, Rylan definitely did push on him, so I don't think that was quite a charge. I think it was more of a push on Ryland. But Arthur's going to take the ball back down in the corner now. Lions zone defense is doing a good job of getting back and forth on either end whenever the Conquering Riders swing it around the arc or throw a cross-court pass. Arthur takes a three, no good. Rylan tips the ball, Elijah hits, and then Rylan ends up coming away with it. Arthur's picking up the defense all the way from the rebound now, but Rylan dribbles around it, no problem. And Theo Carlisle turns it over, almost turns it over again as he tries to pass it to Elijah. Elijah thankfully dives on it. John Bronner drives in now, loses it, and is just going to curl up on it and force a jump ball as opposed to just giving up a straight-up turnover.
Theo Carlisle was calling a timeout. The ref didn't blow his whistle, though, so it's going to be a jump ball. Thankfully, though, that the possession is going to stay with the Lions.
Sean Holman, nice reverse layup. He came in and got the inbound pass right from Rylan and put it in on the other side. Great play there from Sean. Lost up by 3 now. However, Arthur has shown that they can shoot from distance. Sean Holman steals the ball. Elijah comes up with it.
Learns from his past 2 mistakes, grabs the ball, and he stopped right past the 10-second line to give it to the point guard, John Bronner.
John's going to take a 3. That bounces off the rim off the backboard and then down through the rim, and he makes that. That was a lucky break for John.
Arthur trying to move quickly, though. The Lions have good defense. Theo tips it, and he tips it again, recovers it. Pass to John Bronner. He's going to get pushed, and there's a foul on the floor. It's going to be Arthur's first foul of the half.
That was great fast-paced play. Theo was able to come away with the steal, see John Bronner, and then he passed it before he traveled, because he probably would have if he had held on to it, because he was moving very quickly and didn't have time to get a dribble in, and Bronner was able to draw a foul on that pass. So Losslette's going to get the ball right there. Father Carlisle applauding after that play. He was happy with what he saw, and now timeout's going to be called.
The Lions still struggling a little bit down in the post and on defense, but they're getting better at that. They're able to control the ball a little bit more and figure out how to get the ball into the basket. There's still been a couple sloppy mistakes. Theo Carlisle fumbled the ball twice, but he kind of recovered, or he kind of made up for that with that steal on the last possession. It's going to be Lions ball coming out of the timeout. Ryan Ty inbounding it.
Round looking, doesn't see anyone. Then John Bronner pops out behind the arc. That's always what you do whenever the inbound play doesn't quite work. John Bronner has it now, gets into Elijah around the free throw line. Rylan wants to drive baseline, but there's nothing there.
John Bronner holding on to it, gets to the wing to Ryan Taw.
Theo looking to pass, gets it to Ryland at the top. Theo, nice bounce pass into Elijah. Elijah with the layup over the hands of the Arthur defense, but it's off the rim and out of bounds. Arthur's gonna take it back up the court. Lions still up by 6, 22-16, third quarter over halfway done. 3 minutes left, and that's gonna be a travel on Arthur.
Not been too many substitutions in this game for the Lions. They're keeping their, I guess you could say, starting 7 out there on the court. Nicholas Kellerman had come in, and has anybody else come in besides Nicholas Kellerman?
No, I don't think so.
Ben Blood and Ian Whitehead.
Right, and then Andrew Sick, of course, in the first half. Elijah's going to get fouled on the layup. He went up strong and was able to draw another foul. But, yeah, like you said, we had a couple subs in the first half, but none so far in the second. Elijah's first free throw is short, no good. Second free throw is up, and that one is good this time. Pulling the Lions up by 7, 23-16. Arthur reversing the ball. Ryan playing some tight D, and he forces the pass to nobody as it bounces out of bounds.
I don't know if just the players are looking tired out there right now, but just like everything's slowed down right now. The Lions are keeping their intensity up, but I mean, just the whole game is kind of slowed down in the second half, in my opinion.
That's what I think too. Ryland's defender tries to draw a foul as he falls backwards, and Ryland just reacts by knocking down a jump shot. Lions up to their biggest lead of the game so far, 9 points. Arthur's 3 is good, so lead cut to 6. John Bronner drives around to the outside, dribbles behind his back, and he's going to get called for a carry. Theo Carlisle picking up the ball. Arthur passes to the left side of the court. Ryland, nice lockdown D to force to keep a shot from being called. And then Sean Holman wraps his arms around the ball and forces a jump ball.
Good play there by Sean Holman to stop the play and get the possession arrow back in our favor with 1:42 seconds left in the third quarter. Ball tipped out. Bronner picks it up, running down the other court, getting pushed by 40, and there's the foul on the floor. That's going to be Arthur's third foul, I believe, and that's number 42nd.
That was great composure from John Bronner to be able to keep his dribble while still moving fast enough to stay a threat, and he's able to draw the foul. Ryland tries to get the bounce pass into Elijah, and that was probably going to be out on White, but Theo goes and tries to save it and steps out of bounds. So Arthur's going to get it. 1:30 seconds left in the third quarter.
John Bronner gets his hands on the ball again. The ball goes flying outside or out of the hands of the Arthur player, and it's going to stay with the Arthur.
Arthur takes another three and makes it, cutting the Lions' lead to 3, and the Lions really need to, I don't even know if it's speed up their offense, but just play a little bit more strongly. Elijah gets the ball poked right out of his hands, but that rolls out of bounds. Theo has it the wing, gets it to John Bronner. Ball's reversed to Theo in the corner. John Bronner thinks about a 3, then passes it to Ryland. And Elijah's going to get fouled by number 40 again. That's his third.
That's the team's fourth. With 54 seconds left in the third quarter, the Lions are just Arthur's just 3 fouls away from being in the bonus, which would be a big factor in this game for the Lions if they're able to get Arthur into the bonus. And a smooth jumper there from John Bronner in the corner, is able to lay that one in for 2.
And then on the other end, Arthur gets a little bit flustered and passes the ball right out of bounds. Salette's going to get it back. There's enough time for one full-length play from the Lions. That's about 30 seconds as John Bronner crosses the halfway point.
Elijah's got to be careful. He might have been called there again for another moving screen, kind of bumping into his player, moving his feet, but nothing's called. There he goes again, and he's going to get called for a moving screen.
That's his second this game, and I don't know if we've seen him do that at all. I don't know if we've seen him set any moving screens this season, so that's a big problem that he's going to have to fix. But Arthur has the ball now, 12 seconds. They shoot a 3, no good, but no one's there to rebound for Arthur, so Sean Holman comes up with it. Ryland with the ball now, 3 seconds left. John Bronner is going to take a floater as time expires, and it's going to be no good. But going into the fourth and final quarter of play, the Lions up by 5 points, 27-22.
And you could just feel how the energy has dropped in the room. It's at the beginning, you know, the Lions came off strong, putting points on the board. Luckily, they've kept the lead 27-22, but I think to win this game, the Lions just need to come with just a big burst of energy, grab some points, some rebounds, just find their rhythm and start taking this game away and increasing the lead by more than 5 right now.
Right. There's plenty of time for Arthur to come back if Salette starts slacking. The JV has done a great job this season, though, of maintaining leads. Most of the time when they're in the lead later in the game, they don't give it up. They're a pretty level-headed team for sure. And having Ryland this game, he doesn't always play JV, but he is playing JV this game, so having him in the lineup today is a great asset for Salette. Referee comes over to talk to the scorer's table. It's asking about which way the possession arrow's facing. And it is going to be Salette ball to inbound to start the fourth quarter.
That's good for the Lions. They can really just take it now, put some points on the board quickly, and try to come back down on defense, get a defensive block, steal, rebound, something to just keep the momentum on their side to make sure that Arthur doesn't take it from a big three or something.
Right. Salette really needs to watch number 32. He's knocked down a couple threes and come close on at least one other occasion that he didn't make it. Theo Carlisle fakes a shot, gets into Elijah Hall. He goes down low, gets swallowed up by the Arthur D. And the ball goes over the half-court line, but it's going to be tipped, so nothing called against the Lions. John Bronner recovers it, gets it to Rylan Taw. Theo reels in his pass and comes about as close as you can to traveling, but maintains his footing, gets it to Elijah. Elijah's some nice footwork under the hoop to finish. He tacks on another 2 points.
Nice defense there from Theo, getting his hands in his defender's face, blocking the shot off. 40, back his way into the hoop. Nice defense there from Elijah Hall, but he's able to muscle his way in there and put 2 points on the board for Arthur. 24-29, Lions still in the lead.
Any minutes that the Lions can eat up on the clock without diminishing their lead is a plus for them. Already cut through a minute this quarter. Theo Carlisle looking for someone to pass to, gets it to Rylan, who fakes the shot. His defender jumps past him, but he doesn't do a lot with it.
And a nice pass there from John Bronner. A quick pass to Elijah Hall. Elijah goes once again, exact same movement. Right-hand hook across the hoop for a layup. In for 2. Elijah is finding his rhythm in this fourth quarter, putting 4 points on the board in less than 3 minutes.
Ball's going to stay with Arthur. Lions up by 7, 31-24. And the Lions, it's a great job. It's always hard to come out of a timeout and play at the same level that you were playing when you were still warm before that timeout, but they've done that. They haven't made any big mistakes so far this quarter. Elijah almost comes away with the steal, but doesn't. Paint's open, but the Arthur big man doesn't make it. He tries to save it from going out of bounds, and now he's arguing with the referee about whether or not it should be Lions ball, but the ref has none of it and gives the ball to Rylan to inbound.
Arthur really bringing the full press now. Lions easily get past it. John Bronner from a pass from Elijah Hall gets past the 10-second line. Just under 5 minutes. Johnny Bronner finds Ryland at the free throw line. Theo with it now in the corner. John Bronner back in his hands, gets it over to Ryland Taw. Takes a dribble towards the hoop, now back towards it, and gives it to Theo at the top. Over to John Bronner, out of his hands a little bit too hard. He recovers it. He's going to give it to Theo Carlisle now. Resetting their offense. Back to Ryland at the top of the key.
And Father Carlisle calls a full timeout. Lions were moving the ball around and not getting anything started. 4.5 minutes left in the game, and he wants them to secure their lead, get some, in baseball they call it insurance runs. I don't know if there's an equivalent in basketball.
And not necessarily bringing the energy this quarter, but the Lions keeping their lead. I guess you could say matching the energy or having. I think they have more energy than the Arthur JV team right now. But I mean, I think they could still bring some more, get the ball into the hoop more. Elijah Hall's been a big factor of scoring for the Lions, especially in the fourth quarter. But it looks like they're going to stick with this lineup. So no fresh players going to be coming in.
Right, the Lions starters have played the entire second half so far, and they've been doing a great job out there. The whole team is working pretty well as one right now. They're going to bring in and then head back out onto the court now. It's going to stay Lions ball since it was Salette who called the timeout when we are in possession.
And, you know, I was wondering for a little bit why Father Carlisle had called that timeout, but then as you said earlier, you know, they've been playing this whole half. That's probably why. Give them the quick minute breather to get some water and some break. And a break, excuse me.
Inbounds pass is stolen by Arthur. Theo Carlisle playing some nice defense up top. John Bronner helping him seal off a trap. Arthur has the ball now behind the three-point arc. Lions do a nice job to cover the paint and force the pass outside. Elijah, great job with defense. He's not letting any passes into the paint. And Arthur's stuck, moving it around outside the arc. Ryland comes with a steal. He's going down. No one's going to catch him, and all he has to do is make this layup, which he does. Left-hand finish to put the Lions up by 9, 24-33.
Theo playing tight defense all the way outside the perimeter. They get it out for a three. 32 takes it. No good. Sean Holman. He comes up with the aggressive rebounds.
John Bronner gets his man to fall on the ground as he pulled up his dribble, and his defender wasn't up to keeping pace with him. But then Loslette's going to turn the ball over, and everyone gets tangled up. There is going to be a jump ball call that ended up kind of crazy. The Arthur player was holding the ball behind his back but not letting go as one of the Lions was on the ground holding it, and so then the referees just decide to call a jump ball. Andrew Sitt comes into the game for Ryland Taw. Sean Holman tasked with defending against number 32, the Conquering Riders' best shooter. Arthur still down by 9, 3 minutes to play, and Loslet not willing to concede any points. Cross-court pass to the corner, but Sean Holman there. Jumper taken in traffic by Arthur, and they get that one to fall. John Bronner taking it down the court quickly. Lions offense not quite as fast to set up, but Andrew Sick has it now behind the three-point line. And as he passes it in, Father Carlisle calls another timeout. He gets his whiteboard ready to drop the play that he wants the Lions to run.
And yeah, they got 2 minutes, 36 seconds left in this game, so Father Carlisle does not want any blunders. He has 2 more timeouts, but he just wants the team to run the play that he wants them to run, find something, take their time, but most importantly, he wants them to put the ball into the hoop, because if they do, it's more than a 2-possession game, which is exactly what the Lions need.
Right, it's really only a 2-possession game if there's a three-pointer and a foul on it and a made free throw. So for all intents and purposes, it's a 3-possession game, but, you know, anything could happen, and any points would be greatly appreciated by the Lions, but they're the ones that are going to have to get those points up.
Nice ball movement there, Elijah. Quick pass to Bronner. Looked like it was going out of his hands. He came up with it, though. Elijah back his way into the hoop. Gives it back to Bronner. Back to Elijah. He's going to spin around. He's going to go up. A little bit forced. And it's going to be an error ball. No good. 2:15 left in the game. Arthur's ball. They're going to want to take a quick shot, and it's going to come up. Theo Carlisle comes up with the ball after Bronner gets his fingers on it.
John Bronner fighting for space at the top of the key. Gets around his defender. Gets his shot blocked. He can take his time. Loslette's in the lead. Needs to eat up clock time, and they're going to foul Arthur on the shot. That's not what they want, because now Arthur's going to be shooting free throws. That's only Loselette's third foul, so it's not like they're anywhere close to the bonus, so it's more worth it to hold off on your defense a little bit rather than give up a foul on the shot, because that's going to lead to free throws. Thankfully,
free throw is no good, thankfully. And the Lions are going to keep their lead. However, another thing that is not very good that came from that play is that the clock is stopped. And Arthur's going to get their own rebounds, and there's going to be another foul.
Thankfully, that one on the floor, so Arthur's just going to get the ball. But yeah, that last foul comes to nothing as both free throws are missed. Lions and the Conquering Riders both at 4 fouls each. Arthur gets the ball into the corner. Three-pointer is good. And the Arthur coach is going to call a timeout. Lions up by 4, minute 46 left to play.
They have to play smart here. They cannot turn over the ball. They don't. It will be very nice for them to score, but they don't necessarily need to score. They need to hold on to the ball, let the clock wind down. They've got a minute 46 seconds, so about, I would say, maybe 4 more possessions in this game if the Lions take their time. 2 for each team, so the Lions should take their time, get the ball around, move it, hopefully get it into the paint, put some points on the board.
Right, John Bronner on that last possession took that shot. That possession probably only lasted about 10 seconds, and that's not what Salette needs to do this late in the game, especially in a close game like this. And anytime we play Arthur, it is a must-win game, whether that's JV or varsity, but even JV, we need to win. Ryland is going to inbound it, so it's going to stay Salette ball.
Arthur bringing the press. That's a good thing if they're able to steal the ball, but it's also a bad thing because it's going to eat away at the clock.
Ryland just dribbles around. His man falls on the floor, but he's not called for a foul. Ryland, I mean, isn't. Ryland almost loses the ball, but doesn't. Now John Bronner setting up the offense. His defender playing tight D on him. Now he dribbles around him, gets it to Ryland. Close to the corner. He dribbles out, but turns that over. He's unable to get back in time to stop the shot. Lions lead cut to 2, 31-33. Ball inbounded to Theo Carlisle. Ryland looking for someone. Sees Sean Holman. He doesn't originally catch it. It's loose. He pulls it in and then pass it to John Brenner. He's called for the travel. He's unhappy. Doesn't think he traveled, but that's the ref's call. Lions unraveling a little bit right now. A minute left, down 31-33. And Theo Carlisle tips that pass out of bounds. Great aggressive play there. He's hanging in there fighting.
Lions need to get a defensive stop here. Theo playing tight defense.
Elijah, this is up to him. He needs to stop number 40, and he's going to get called for a blocking foul as he was moving backwards.
He might have wanted the charge. He might have tripped there. I couldn't really see, but that's his 4th with 53 seconds left. He's got to be careful. I don't think we can afford to lose Elijah right now.
Theo, good defense, and Ryland comes away with the steal. He's going to take his time now. Arthur doesn't set up the press, so we're across the 10-second line easily. 45 seconds left. Elijah has it, and he's going to get fouled.
It's going to be the Arthur's 5th foul.
6th foul. The scoreboard was at 5, but it's going to...
Nope, that's their 5th. It was at 4th. It turns to 5th. That's 40's 4th, though. One more foul, and they're in the bonus.
It's going to stay Lions ball. So both big men for both teams, Elijah Hall and the number 40 for Arthur, both sitting at 4 fouls. Theo narrowly is able to grab the inbounds pass, and then John Bronner is going to get knocked over and fouled.
And he's going to the free throw line to shoot 2. Or no, I'm sorry, they need 7 fouls. I don't know why I thought they needed 6.
Probably because we were just watching the 8th grade game where, of course, it's 6 fouls to get into the bonus. John Bronner gets stuck, but passes it to Ryland. Ryland gets the ball tipped away. Sean Holman ends up with it, and he's on the floor. He does a great job to not travel, and as he was on the floor, Father Carlisle calls a timeout just in time, and it's going to stay Salette ball. Great job by Sean Holman to keep his wits about him and not move his feet. He just laid on the ground and held on to the ball, and then Father Carlisle comes in with the timeout to save possession for the Lions. So 24 seconds left in the game. Lions holding on to a narrow 2-point lead, 33-31. A turnover here could be fatal for the Lions. But if they can make a shot, then it's going to be really hard for Arthur to come back.
And if the Lions do turn over the ball, they just have to get back quickly. And best case scenario, they stop, get a turnover. But they really need to focus on not letting a 3 get taken. I mean, a 2 is not good, but it's better than a 3. So if they're going to be thrown off balance, they need to make sure they plant their feet and watch the 3-point line. Make sure that no 3s are being taken, because Arthur has made a couple 3s in this game. And, I mean, most of the 3s that they've taken have gone in. They haven't taken too many. The Lions just really got to watch out for that. Also, they have to watch out for a turnover here on this press, because if Arthur grabs the ball of a quick turnover, they have an easier time of sprinting down to the other end of the court.
Ryland's going to inbound from underneath the Arthur hoop. He tries to get it into Elijah, but the ball is picked off by Arthur. Salette's at 5 fouls right now, so even a foul here would not force a free throw. And Elijah Hall able to pick off the pass. He gets fouled by number 40. That's 40's 5th foul. He's out of the game, and Ryland's going to head to the line to shoot a 1-and-1.
And if Ryland's able to knock these 2 free throws down, that will be the game. There are only 11 seconds left in this ball game, as number 11 comes in for 40. 40 had to go out because he had 5 fouls.
Referee is asking the scorers table how many timeouts each team has. Arthur still has 3, Salette down to only 1, but if Ryland can sink these, we won't need them. His free throw no good. Sean Holman fights for the rebound. Doesn't come away with it, but that ball is going to go out on Arthur. Great effort from Sean Holman to keep possession with Salette. Remember, that's a 2-on-1, and Sean still was able to keep Arthur from taking it. Ryland doesn't see.
Smart play there from Ryland. As you just said, he didn't see anybody, so he just threw it off the legs of his defenders, who was flailing them crazily to try to block a pass.
Risky pass into Theo Carlisle, and then John Bronner holding it. He was right at the half-court line. He didn't want to go across because it was going to be over and back. And
that was a great play from him, because, I mean, he was just standing there, and he just completely sacrificed himself. I don't know if you've ever fallen over, but I always brace myself. He did not brace himself. He just fell over to hopefully get the foul, and he did.
Right, falling over on a basketball court is not the most comfortable thing. Lions going to be called for a push, so Arthur's going to get the ball back. 7.4 seconds left. Lions at 6 fouls. Elijah Hall, that's going to be his 5th foul. He just fouled out of the game. Referees trying to explain that you have to take the player who fouls out you have to replace the player who fouls out before you can bring in the new player, and they won't let them go into the timeout until that happens. So everyone was just kind of standing there staring, not quite sure. I don't think Elijah even knew that he had fouled out because he wasn't coming off the court.
I mean, everyone was standing around except Arthur. Arthur's been standing over there for a little bit, coming up with one last game plan to take a shot. And the Elijah coming out of the game is a big hit for the Lions, especially if Arthur is able to score a 2 and go into overtime. However, number 40 for the Lions, their big man, he's also out of the game. It's kind of a their guy goes out and our guy goes out too.
Right,
so
kind of like a trade, but.
So I guess you could say Salette doesn't have that advantage anymore of having Elijah in.
Right, with no one to guard him. I can hear in the huddle Lions saying no fouls. They cannot foul because they're going to give free throws no matter what the foul is. They're sitting at 6 fouls right now.
Kellerman has been exceptionally good this game. Played earlier in the second quarter. Had a block. We don't want him blocking any passes now in case the refs call a foul on that. He's just got to keep his hands up, use his height and his wingspan to control the paint. And as right now, he has a player right behind him. I don't know if he notices him.
John Browner covering the ball, coming down the court. 4 seconds now. Arthur chucks up a desperate shot. Not even close. Lions gonna win. Arthur had a little bit of time, but they threw up the shot anyway. Final score, La Salette JV 31, Conquering Riders 31.
That was kind of an anticlimactic.
Yeah, I thought that it
moment
was going to be a much better shot, but he just kind of threw it sideways and it wasn't even close. But that's the end. Lions able to hold off the Arthur comeback. Please stick around for the varsity game, which is going to be coming up right after this at 4 o'clock. But until then, I'm Kevin Quigley with Michael McCall. Thank you for watching.